right, Dr. Green.
How he gonna tell you to be a woman?
Steve Harvey gonna have y'all with the house, the car, and a bunch of cats. But I'm not saying I dislike it. I'm just saying some of the things in terms of advice for women is not the best advice. It's a lot based on stereotypes, and a lot of it just doesn't work. The reality is, if a single heterosexual male meets a woman that he likes and wants to date and get to know on a different level, if that 90-day rule is kind of put out there, oh, I don't do this for 90 days, then it can be perceived as, oh, she's playing games, she's testing me. So I don't know if men want to be in a situation with a woman to be tested. Now, if it's a situation where we're getting to know one another, and in that process we begin to talk about sex and intimacy and things of that nature, and you explain to the man that you don't believe in sex too early for legitimate reasons, if that man is very genuinely interested in you, then he will respect that. And if he doesn't respect that, then you don't date him. It's that simple. But I don't think the question or the flipping it is comparing apples to apples. I think it's comparing what is it that society, again, the narrative, equates with what women bring to the table in a dating scenario versus what men bring to the table. What society generally thinks of what men are supposed to bring. We're supposed to have money, we're supposed to, again, court you, spend money, this, that, and the third. And so I think the question is, if men decided for 90 days that we're just gonna go Dutch, because I really just wanna see, do you value me, as opposed to how much money I have and what I can do for you, I think women would reject that. But flipping it back to the other way around, if men in that scenario is interested in becoming intimate, and you say, well, I have this 90-day rule, then that's kind of you being a hypocrite, because you don't want to do this, but you want me essentially to spend my money on you. That type of attitude. So I think it's comparing apples to oranges. I understand your point and why you perceive it that way, but again, I also agree with what you said. Women being held to a different standard of taking ownership of your sexuality, is very much a double standard. And I think what we are seeing culturally is a shift away from that, where women are embracing that and not really caring what society says about them regarding their own sexuality. But it is a double-edged, not a double-edged, it is a double standard, and it's been a historical double standard. And I don't think society itself is going to change it. But you yourself as a woman can decide. I know women who embrace their sexuality, and they have no problem with it. They're like, this is what I do, I enjoy it. And, but if I meet a man that I want to marry, then I'll get married. Until that time, I want to be sexually free, and I should not be held to any other standard than a man. So, and that's black, white, Asian, Latino, it doesn't matter. But again, if we just base it solely on what society says, then yes, it's going to be that double standard. But in comparing back to the question, if you look at what women are bringing to the table versus what men are bringing to the table, and it seems as if women you kind of stood up when she asked the question, like, oh no, we're not doing that.
Right.
So why is it okay, or why is it an expectation for you as a woman that I spend my money if I'm really just genuinely trying to get to know you? But it's not okay, but you're saying it's okay for you to withhold sex or intimacy, but it's an expectation for me to spend my money. I think if you ask most men, they're like, that's not a fair exchange.
Right.
Because ladies, if you don't realize it, and you probably don't because you're a woman, you all cost a lot of money to court and date. It's not cheap. You might think the 2 for $20 at Applebee's is okay.
Man.
But when you add you add the drinks, and you add maybe an appetizer, you might add a dessert, that 2 for $20 is now 2 for $50.
Right.
And if I'm dating you, and we are in this dating situation, I'm using Applebee's as a low end. I know some of y'all ain't trying to go to Applebee's. You might want Olive Garden, not Olive Garden, but Outback and above. But my point is, if I'm genuinely dating you and courting you, We might go out 3 or 4 or 5 times a week. That's costly. And I gotta get a haircut, I gotta make sure the car is clean, you know, I gotta get an outfit, you know, so that adds up. That adds up. And I'm not suggesting that you all don't spend money. Getting your hair done is costly, but all you're doing is getting your hair done. All you're doing is getting an outfit. But we're coming out, if again, as a gentleman, we're coming out of our pockets with money. You do the math. Do the math. Just an average date is like $45 for 2. An average date. Do that times 4 on a college student salary. That can be very expensive. Exactly.
Alton, what do you have to say? I know you're itching.
Oh, no, I mean, let me tell you, I mean, the 90 day, I just say this about a man, whether we get it on the first night or on the third, 3 months later, really doesn't matter. If we want to deal with a woman, it's something in the man can agree. If it's that woman that just got that thing that you just want, regardless if she gave it to you the first night or the 3rd month. But it's also something in us that we may get it and don't want to deal with you no more. I mean, that's just how it is. So you're trying to put these rules. You get to 3 months and you give it to him and he still may dip out. Because I've seen that done. You wait all you want and he get it, and you know how you be on the phone all day, then you give it to him, then you call him, he ain't answer. You call him again. Wait a minute now, you were calling me every night when I ain't give none. It would have happened 2 years from now. It's just something, when we see something in a woman that we like, we're gonna rock with that woman, whether she gave it the first night, 3 months, 3 years. But just because you held it for 3 months doesn't mean he's still gonna rock with you. That's just what it is. So the rules, and I'm gonna tell you something else. If you say that in a conversation, when I was in college, I looked at that as a challenge. 90 days, I'm gonna get it before them 90 days. You think, okay, we'll see. We'll see. You ain't gonna make it. That was a challenge. I mean, for a young cat, that's a challenge. So my best advice for women, is don't even bring that to a conversation. I wouldn't even bring that up. A 90-day, just do you. Have fun. Don't get yourself in those settings. If you're not trying to have sex with a man, don't come to my house. 10 p.m., 3 o'clock in the morning. Don't come to my house like that. Don't come to some Netflix and chill. Meet me somewhere. Have a gathering for 3 months. But don't be putting me, I'm for real because this is what's setting a lot of stuff up. When you say you're gonna do it, just do it, but don't put that dude in a situation where he's gonna wanna get it. You just see what I'm saying? And then you turn around and say, oh, well, no, I'm not ready. Girl, I am. I had plenty of time when I was in college, and I was ready, and I was just in that situation. But I'm just telling for women, if you're keeping yourself, fine, that's great. But for young men, I don't suggest you put that man in that position where he wants you like that, if that's what you're gonna do. If you're gonna, it shouldn't be no big deal. It shouldn't be 90-day rule. Yeah, you ain't getting none. I'm keeping. Yeah. Oh, okay. No, it shouldn't even be a conversation. It should be, like she said, authentic. It should just be natural, something natural. But if you do, don't be feeling sad about it. I think the biggest word is empowering. It's taking ownership of it, knowing that, okay, I did this because I wanted to. It wasn't because, a rule. No, I wanted to. And then you tell him, I wanted to. It wasn't had nothing to do with you. Now that'll mess a dude up. He'll be like, what?
I'm telling you.
But it's about taking power. I think that's what it's about when it comes to women. Taking that power, and then that 90-day rule is just that strips you away from your power and stuff like that. So